Now with the OnePlus 11R, it's like OnePlus is finally coming back to its roots. So the company was known for making the best budget flagship devices, and the 11R is the phone from OnePlus in such a long time that actually lives up to that prestige or that category. In fact, at 40,000, it's the cheapest Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 device in the country. However, in the time that OnePlus was focused on making their premium flagship devices, the budget flagship category or the flagship killer category was left alone for other players to cave into. And iQoo is one of those brands that has actually made a name for itself in that category. In fact, at a difference of 10 grand, the iQoo Neo 7 does manage to give the OnePlus 11R a run for its money, at least on paper. But which of these devices is the better choice for you? Well, that's what we'll be talking about in today's video, where we'll be taking an in-depth comparison of the iQoo Neo 7 with the all-new OnePlus 11R. Let's get started. Alright, so starting off with the design, they're both unique in their own ways. So the Neo 7 brings forward the look of the aging Neo 6, while the OnePlus 11R comes with the same design as the flagship OnePlus 11. Now, which design you prefer based on the looks is up to you, but I do have to say that OnePlus definitely looks a bit more premium. Both the phones come with glass backs and neither is prone to fingerprints. Now, the OnePlus 11R is a tad bit heavier at 204 grams, but the weight distribution is great, so the device is still as ergonomic as the Neo 7. Now, as for the haptics, they are definitely better on the OnePlus 11R, giving you a refined experience as opposed to the rather average haptics on the Neo 7. Next up, we have the displays, and that is one area where OnePlus has a clear advantage. You get a curved display with a higher peak brightness and a slight bump in the resolution as well, resulting in an overall much better DPI. Now, as a result, the OnePlus 11R is better to use under direct sunlight, the content looks sharper, and the gestures feel better thanks to its edges. With that being said, it's not to say that the panel on the Neo 7 is bad or anything. I mean, it's still one of the best displays on a smartphone under Rs 30,000, and a flat display means not only would it be easier for you to apply a screen guard, but you also don't have to worry about expensive screen repair cost should the display get cracked or broken in any manner whatsoever. Now, as far as content consumption goes, both the panels are rated for HDR10+. Aiding that, you also get stereo speakers on both devices, and they're equally loud and rich. Next up, let's talk about the performance, which I'm sure a lot of you guys are interested about. It's a Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 against the MediaTek Dimensity 8200. Now, both the phones do come with UFS 3.1 storage. In synthetic benchmarks, the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 definitely shows its might over the Dimensity 8200. The 11R manages to outperform the iQoo Neo 7 with ease. That being said, it's worth noting that the Neo 7 still puts up respectable scores, which individually are the best in its own class. It's just that against the OnePlus 11R, they definitely feel a lot more inferior. But then again, given the price gap, it's definitely justified. That being said, as far as day-to-day usage goes, both phones are equally snappy and work very well. In fact, as a consumer, you won't be able to find a difference on either device for your average workloads, so that's good. Also, when it comes to gaming, while the OnePlus 11R has more raw power, the Neo 7 manages to stay cooler for a bit longer, while also adding extra features via its game mode. So, as far as gaming is concerned, the Neo 7 might just be a bit better. Now, of course, aiding the performance part is the software department. Now, both the phones come with their respective skins based on Android 30, and they're both very stable too. With that being said, OxygenOS undoubtedly feels more polished and refined in comparison to FuntouchOS. Now, add to that the fact that OnePlus is offering 3 years of software updates, which means you will definitely get Android 16 on this, which is a good sign. Now, in comparison, while we don't know till when the iQoo Neo 7 will be supported, the company's update schedule has been much better lately, with timely updates coming every month. In fact, iQoo is one of the first companies to roll out Android 13 upgrades to all of their devices in their portfolio, and if that's a sign to go by, well, while OnePlus assures you that you will get updates for the next 3 years, with iQoo you're rest assured that those updates will be timely. Whether they are for 2 years or 3 years, that we're not sure of, but at least all of those updates will be in a timely manner. Alright, so moving along, let's talk about the cameras. Now, the OnePlus 11R comes with a 50MP primary sensor coupled with an 8MP ultra-wide sensor and a 2MP macro. Now, on the other hand, the iQoo Neo 7 comes with a 64MP primary shooter but drops the ultra-wide sensor in favor of a 2MP depth sensor. Up front, both the phones share a similar 16MP shooter. Starting off with the daylight shots, shots are pretty vibrant and punchy on both. However, the Neo 7 produces images with a little extra exposure when compared to the 11R, which is producing with more contrast and maintains highlights better. Now, if you look at this image, the leaf looks better on the 11R and the Neo 7 again boosts the brightness here a tad bit. Now, this next image is my favorite in terms of color reproduction, sharpness and details. Here, the OnePlus 11R has a more processed look in comparison to the less vibrant Neo 7 image. Now, popular preference here would definitely be the 11R for most people. In this image, however, if you zoom into the strands, you will see that the Neo 7 does slightly better here by keeping them in focus and maintaining detail. Moving on to daylight shots, the 11R maintains the highlights better. Now, while the sky is the same on both, in terms of color, the 11R and Neo 7 look almost the same if you look at the leaves, bushes, and the base of the plant. Now, in this next HDR shot, it was tough for both the cameras as the sun was directly on the lens. Both of them have produced flare at different positions. The 11R, however, has a better overall output here as it maintains the dynamic range better than the Neo 7. That being said, there is a definite halo effect to the sun in the 11R image, whereas the Neo 7's image is overpowered by the highlights. Now, this was important here as the 11R maintains the correct temperature here, but the Neo 7 just messes it up. The color and the temperature of the wall is more natural and closer to reality in the 11R image. The Neo 7 just applies a cooler tint to the wall, which is not pleasant, well, at least to me. Moving on to human shots, when it comes to normal shots, the 11R tends to brighten up the image a tad bit more in comparison to the Neo 7. The Neo 7 also has a more contrasty image with more processed sharpness in the image, whereas the 11R has a natural looking image with no extra sharpness induced. In the portrait mode, the color remains the same on both. However, in terms of edge detection and camera bokeh, I would definitely slide with the 11R for this image. As for selfies, the image looks better on the 11R in terms of skin tone and face illumination. The detailing on the face is also a tad bit better on the 11R. Now, switching to the portrait mode, the 11R still looks better with natural bokeh, no blowing of highlights, and good processing of the subject. In terms of edge detection, in this image, you can see the strand of the hair were missed on the Neo 7 but was comparatively better maintained on the OnePlus 11R. Moving on to low light shots, the OnePlus 11R shoots mostly realistic images as compared to the iQoo Neo 7. The Neo 7 tries to brighten up here and lifts the shadows a bit in comparison to the OnePlus 11R if you look at this image. Now, at the same time, moving on to this next shot, the trees and bushes are better visible on the Neo 7. The shot on the OnePlus 11R has good exposure on the building, but the bushes and trees are shadowed and dark. So the way it works is that the Neo 7 has lifted the overall image by boosting the highlights and shadows, but in comparison, the street lights are better on the OnePlus 11R. See, the overall image when compared to the Neo 7 is definitely a bit darker but more natural. Basically, if you prefer shots that just uplift the entire image, adding more illumination even if it comes at the cost of noise and graininess, the Neo 7 is the right pick for you. However, if you want a night mode shot to highlight the subject while still preserving the whole element of it being shot in low light, the OnePlus 11R has the better camera setup. Then we have the battery. Both the phones come with a 5000 mAh battery. However, the OnePlus 11R comes with a 100-watt charger while the Neo 7 comes with a faster 120-watt charger. As you would expect, the Neo 7 definitely charges a bit faster. However, the difference is merely 2 minutes. Essentially, both the phones can go from 0 to 50% in under 10 minutes. Now, as far as battery backup goes, both the phones easily last an entire day of usage. However, iQoo again has the advantage here in the fact that the Dimensity 8200 is a slightly more efficient processor, so you do get about an hour of extra usage on the Neo 7. Now, this brings us to the pricing. The iQoo Neo 7 starts at Rs 30,000, while the OnePlus 11R starts at Rs 40,000. So, what does that extra 10 grand actually get you? Well, you get a more premium looking design, a slightly better display, much better cameras, good performance, and excellent software. So, is the OnePlus 11R justified at Rs 40,000? Absolutely. As for the iQoo Neo 7, As I mentioned in my review of the device, if all you want is performance and can compromise a little bit on the other factors, then you can save the 10 grand and just get the Neo 7. It's undoubtedly the best smartphone in terms of performance under Rs 30,000, and in fact that performance is quite close to the OnePlus 11 too. Well, that was it. If you like this video and are interested in buying the OnePlus 11R or the iQoo Neo 7, well, make sure to check out the best offers from the links down below. But before you do that, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more awesome tech content. Till then, this is Aman from GTR, and I'll see you in the next one.